Hey everyone, Evan Jones with you here for another episode of the RPAC Rundown podcast. This week on the show, we will go through the football scoreboard from week 8. Of course, this episode out a little bit later than I was hoping. Of course, the football scoreboard is brought to you by MNB Realty. Been running around like crazy, as you know, with RPAC volleyball and all kinds of things. So the show got out a little bit later than I was hoping, but still a really great episode once again on the podcast. Like I said, we'll do the football scoreboard from week 8. Then we will recap RPAC volleyball. We have Cody Gerlach of the Valley Voice here to do that with us. And also we will recap featured matchups from last week, which that week would have been the 13th through the 17th, the matchups we had that week. So a jam-packed episode once again. Of course, the RPAC Rundown podcast is brought to you by a bunch of great sponsors like Arapahoe Rehab and Fitness, Cambridge Supermarket, Webb's Oilfield Service, Cambridge Rehab and Fitness, Onyx Native, and C+. We'll take a break. Be right back. Last Tuesday, October 14th, we had an RPAC Rundown featured matchup between Maywood Hayes Center and Sutherland on the volleyball court. Maywood Hayes Center won the match via the sweep. You can read the full blog recap on rpacrundown.com. That RPAC Rundown featured matchup was brought to you by Lord's Hardware, Furniture, and Appliances, Tidy's Sip and Seed, and Stengel Taxidermy. Also last week, let me scroll and find where we are at within our script here. On Thursday, last week, that would have been the 16th of October, we had an RPAC Rundown featured matchup between Cambridge and Hitchcock County. Awesome football game. Neither team deserved to lose. The Falcons ended up winning in overtime by a final of 20-14. Both teams played incredibly well. It was a great football game. That RPAC Rundown featured matchup was brought to you by Trails West, JBK Operating, LLC, Onyx Native, Lord's Hardware, Furniture, and Appliances, Corn-Fed Entertainment, Elevate Wellness, providing physical therapy and a large range of holistic health services to the entire Southwest Nebraska region, Webb's Oilfield Service, and Dundee County Hospital, along with Hawkswell Motors, Waypoint Bank, and Bentley and Kisker PC. We'll take a break and then go through the other RPAC Rundown featured matchups we had also. Also last week on Friday night, so we're looking at October 17th, we had 2 football games. Let's dive into those. Wallace hit the road to play Juanita Palisade on Friday, and the Wildcats were able to capture the win by a final score of 60-20. This RPAC Rundown featured matchup was brought to you by Lord's Hardware, Furniture, and Appliances, Corn-Fed Entertainment, Elevate Wellness, providing physical therapy and a large range of holistic health services to the entire Southwest Nebraska region, Pitts and Spitz Barbecue, Dundee County Hospital, Dayspring Bank, Midwest Ag Products, and Susie's Creative Stitches. Of course, you can find all kinds of great stuff on rpacrundown.com. We have full blog recaps from these games. Also last Friday, we had Maywood Hayes Center versus Bertrand. The Wolves were able to get the victory. They came into the game winless, but they were able to get the win by a final of 32-30. This RPAC Rundown featured matchup was brought to you by Scott's Grocery, LLC, First State Bank, Tidy's Sip and Seed, Lord's Hardware, Furniture, and Appliances, Corn-Fed Entertainment, Elevate Wellness, providing physical therapy and a large range of holistic health services to the entire Southwest Nebraska region, C+, J&J Faithscapes, Dundee County Hospital, Aurora Co-op, Go Light, and Holdridge Family Dental. We'll take a break and be right back. Like we mentioned, you can read all of the articles and game stories on rpacrundown.com. A lot of good stuff there. Like I said, we'll take a break and be right back. Hey everyone, Evan Jones with you here once again. You may have seen in recent weeks, we have a really cool piece of content that we have been producing, brought to you by Acme Printing Company in McCook, as we have been interviewing RPAC students who are involved in the arts, whether that's play, art, etc. It's been really fun to chat about the arts side of education. We've been really excited to do this. It's been fun to partner with Acme Printing Company. 1 interview per week is what we have been doing. And if you haven't checked out Acme Printing Company's website, you need to go to acmeprint.co. You can order online. They do so many things like marketing products, stationery, direct mailing, signage, promotional products, storefront and vehicle graphics, and more. We personally use Acme Printing Company. They print our magazine. They've hooked us up with some great pens, and they also did the signage on the office here. Great local business, great people to work with. So be on the lookout for those interviews on social media, and be sure to check out Acme Printing Company for your printing needs. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will look at the MNB Realty Football Scoreboard from Week 8. You're listening to the RPAC Rundown Podcast. Let's take a look at the football scoreboard from Week 8. Once again, this is the football scoreboard from Week 8, brought to you by MNB Realty, LLC. Alma took down Highline 64-34. North Platte St. Pat's beat Arapahoe 35-2. Maywood Hayes Center beat Bertrand 32-30. Hitchcock County beat Cambridge in overtime 20-14. Dundee County Stratton took down Southern Valley 65-13. Maxwell beat Brady 47-28. Medicine Valley beat Paxton 69-37. Southwest beat SEM 65-30. Bridgeport took down Sutherland 59-0. And Wallace beat Juanita Palisade 60-20. Once again, weekly football scoreboard brought to you by MNB Realty. We'll take a break, and then Cody Gerlach of the Valley Voice will join us to chat about the RPAC volleyball tournament that concluded on Tuesday. You're listening to the RPAC Rundown Podcast. Welcome back to the RPAC Rundown Podcast. We have Cody Gerlach of the Valley Voice joining us today. It was a full 3 days of volleyball action beginning last Thursday and Monday, Tuesday. Fun RPAC volleyball tournament once again. Just initially, Cody, what were some of your takeaways from the tournament?
I think the first one has to be, for me, Dundee County Stratton has become an excellent volleyball team. I think we talked when we were talking about the season before anything started in August. And, if they could bring the skill along, they have the athleticism to be pretty dangerous. I thought over the course of Monday and Tuesday, I didn't see their matches Thursday, but Monday, Tuesday, they held up pretty well in serve receive. They put the ball in positions to score with their hitters. I came away really impressed. I know they got beat Tuesday night, but I think if you didn't have a scoreboard and you were just watching that match, on the whole, they might have outplayed Cambridge. They just don't have the experience yet in the big moments. Second, I thought Cambridge had kind of a different attitude in the way they approached this week. They played Southwest 3 previous times. They did manage to steal a set from them a week earlier, but I thought Monday night they played like front runners. I thought they played with more confidence. And then when they got to Tuesday, they had some real struggles early. When you get beat 14 and 25-9, it didn't faze them much. I thought Mallory Springer, their senior leader, just kind of grabbed them and drugged them across the finish line. And I know winning an RPAC title for them was a really big deal. Southwest, I thought they looked like they played pretty well. They played pretty clean in their consolation match with Maywood Hayes Center. And if you can sweep Mayhay, you're still playing at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
They were in their match with Cambridge. They just a couple points in every set that the Trojans won. And if you flip a couple points, well, that's the difference in a 25-20 decision. To just continue with the 4 teams that got to Tuesday, I think Maywood Hayes Center has a ton of potential. They're really athletic, and at times they have flashed that. I just thought they were kind of high error Monday and Tuesday. And that's what good teams do. They put pressure on you in different ways. Well, that's what they should do. And sometimes the result is you make more errors than you typically do. And that's what we got from the Wolves a little bit.
Yeah. No, and it was good volleyball on that evening. But you're right. Dundee County Stratton, even though they lost that match, there's a lot to take away from that heading into postseason play that they're going to be able to carry into, hopefully for them getting to Lincoln as well.
Sure, absolutely. And for some of the other teams that didn't make it to Tuesday, I think there are a number of teams in the West. I think the volleyball on that side of the league, 1 through 8, a little deeper this year. I don't really think you can argue that at all. You know, and a team that's got an ugly record, but does anybody want to play Hitchcock County right now?
Anyone wants to. No.
They are leather tough. And I've been really impressed. I know they're not winning a lot of these matches, but they are putting themselves in position to take them late. They're just not quite finishing. I really like the way Arapahoe's playing right now. And I guess I also like the fact that maybe they're not satisfied with how they're playing. But other than a couple seasons, like 10, 12 years ago, this is about the best volleyball team Arapahoe's had. Record-wise, I think they're dangerous in what is otherwise a loaded sub next week. Maxwell, I mean, unfortunately, they're in C2. It's a little different class of volleyball, but I think they do a lot of good things. I just think there's a lot of teams. Wapaw, Paxton flashes some good stuff. I don't want to leave somebody out here, but I just think in the West, there were a lot of teams that do a lot of good things. They're just kind of, a kill short here or, just a play or two away from being, again, a state tournament type team.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we talked a little bit about the 5-set thriller with Dundee County Stratton and Cambridge, and then also the Southwest versus Maywood Hayes Center game. That was a big game, even though it's consolation, it's third and fourth place game for RPAC in a 16-team field. That's a big deal. But for sub-district seeding, that was huge because they're in the same sub, and Southwest got the win.
Yeah. I mean, that one tilted which team was going to get to host. I think that's always a big deal. I mean, I know there's not much travel between those schools, but I think Southwest is more comfortable playing at home. And I think Maywood Hayes Center would tell you we'd love to be at home too.
Both of those gyms
it's kind of
are
hard to put value on what home court advantage means in high school volleyball. But I think for those two schools, I think it is a relatively big deal. And the other end of that is, with all due respect, you got to remind me who the 4 and 5 seeds in that sub are.
In the 4 and 5 seeds in the D111 will be Highline and Medicine Valley.
You're getting a different challenge than you are playing an Arapahoe team that I think is pretty dangerous right now. And look, like Highline Med Valley has had a tough year. I think they're trying to do a lot of the right things. They're just a little ways away from competing for a sub-district title at this point.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Highline does a lot of good things. They have some really good young players. And I mean, they have a couple good older players too. They do things that can scare you, but I just think there is some reward in being the 1 seed there. Whereas if you're the 2, you're having to play 2 really tough matches to get through the sub.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the D111. That begins on Monday when Highline and Medicine Valley play. And then, of course, the rest of the week that goes on. Onto Tuesday, of course, is when they wrap those up. Now let's talk D2-9. Well, actually, D2-9 with Dundee County Stratton. They're the number 1 seed. They host. They will await the winner of number 4 seed South Platte versus number 5 seed Wallace. And then on the bottom half of that bracket is Paxton and Hitchcock County. So, you anticipate Dundee County Stratton getting to that sub-district championship game. Either way, though, they will have a scrappy opponent.
Yeah. And then I don't know what to think of a Paxton Hitchcock match. I think that is probably one of those where it's 22-21 every set. We just see who wins the last couple rallies. I think the thing for Dundee County Stratton is this is their second year of being pretty successful. But when you they played two of their better matches that I'd seen them play, Monday and Tuesday. You don't want to let off the gas now. And you might be playing an inferior opponent in your first sub-district game. But you got to mash the pedal to the floor at this point. If you want to maximize what your potential is over the next couple weeks, it's got to be all throttle right now. So I think it's important for them to set the tone that we're going to play well, regardless of if we think we're kind of the clear-cut favorite in this sub. And we already talked about, I think Hitchcock County is really dangerous despite being 8-10 games under 500. Paxton has had streaks this year where they've played really well. So they're certainly dangerous too. I think you feel pretty good about an RPAC team coming out of that sub.
Yes, for sure. And then the D112, we have two RPAC teams in there, number 3 Sutherland and number 2 Juanita Palisade. And of course, we're not trying to leave anyone out when we're talking about these sub-districts, but these are just some notable ones we feel. Juanita Palisade being the number 2 seed, there's an opportunity there for the Broncos as well to maybe make some noise.
Yeah, and we talked about the D111.
Yeah, with Southwest.
Forgive me with the numbers.
Yeah.
So Southwest and Maywood Center are both in the top 10 for power points, or the bottom end of the top 10. If you're in that 8 to 10 range, you're thinking, well, we're in really good shape. Even if we'd have a setback and get beat, we're going to make a district final. D1 is kind of a mess with the sub-district assignments in that the 4 wild cards to district final could be taken up in the top 6 spots.
Yeah.
Like that legitimately could happen. It wouldn't take huge upsets. And one of those, I think Juanita Palisade could be spoiler here.
Yeah.
I think Morrill has a very good volleyball team. I don't think they've lost in October. I mean, their last loss was like the 20th or 25th of September. So they have been on a good run. But yeah, I mean, if you are the team or even 2 teams that come up short in D111 and you're looking for a wild card, that is a sub that you might be sweating out the result a little bit, waiting to see, are we going to get to play on Saturday or is our season over? Yeah. So I suppose that's kind of a fun spot for Juanita Palisade to be in, right?
Yeah.
But I do, just from their own merit, I think they have a great opportunity. If they can put together, it's another team that has had some really strong moments and then some that are a little bit head scratching. And it's Class D volleyball. A lot of times when the head scratching results come, it's because you become high error.
Yeah.
But if they can continue to fight on defense, like we've seen them at sometimes this season, and find ways to terminate with consistency, I think they've got a shot to win that sub.
Yeah. Then finally, D28 at Cambridge. Cambridge, the clear favorite to come out of that. But they line up with Wilcox, Hildreth, and then Bertrand and Franklin are also in that sub-district. But for Cambridge, really important for them, kind of like what you said towards the end of the season, you want to be playing your best volleyball. And yes, there were some really not so pretty parts on
Right.
Tuesday night.
Right.
But I think that will go a long way for them also going into postseason play.
Right. I think they're in a pretty good spot right now. And I think part of it for Cambridge is they have been there and done this before. And that goes for Southwest too. None of the pressure in these moments is new.
Yeah.
We've done this. That's a big deal because the unique thing about volleyball is you could get beat 25-0, 25-0 in a best of 5 match. You've been outscored 50-0. And the other team hasn't really accomplished a thing yet.
Yeah.
They still have to have another one, and you can just get blasted, but you still control everything on your side of the net. So I think they're in a good spot. I think Cambridge is in a good spot from the standpoint of where they sit in the power ratings or the point standings. 2. I think they are second or third. And I think there is a chance, just because of the subs, they could fall to 3 by winning their subs still.
Sure.
But I think similar with Dundee County, they were either 4th or 5th. I don't recall exactly. They're in great shape. You want to be up in the top half. You know you're going to be at home then. When you host or when you play a district final, big deal, especially if the opponent's coming from 200 miles away. But yeah, I think they like where they're at. I think they are playing their best volleyball right now. Everybody's got things to fix, but yeah, I think they're pretty content with where they're at.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a great opportunity for the RPAC to have a number of teams downstate, which is really exciting too. And those district finals, November 1st, that's when that all takes place, on Saturday, November 1st. And then that following week is state volleyball. So crazy to think, Cody, that this fall season is, state cross country's on Friday. We're recording this on the morning of Thursday. And just the fall season just has sprinted by.
Football playoffs, state cross country. It's going to be a blur for about 10 more days. And it may end up being 17 more days, but these are the games that I know you and I look forward to. You like the regular season stuff, but this is the stuff that's the most fun.
Yes, it is. You get to the point when it matters a lot.
And sometimes I think some of these teams, when you know you're gonna be pretty good, and you know you're in a pretty good spot to try to get to Lincoln, I think some of it does tend to be, we're trying to get through the regular season, so we can get to the RPAC tournament, and then we can get to the sub and district final, and finally we're in Lincoln. Now this is the stuff we've been wanting to get to since August. I think there is a little bit of that. I'm not saying that's the right approach, but I think there is a little bit of that.
Well, anything else to add on volleyball at this point? Or
no, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a wild couple days, Monday and Tuesday. I think Class D1 is so deep. I think the district finals could get really zany, because typically you've got some teams that are drawing maybe one a week or sub, or they've drawn a spot in the district final, and the 2 overall, they're going to cruise. I don't know if I see that this year. There are so many good teams in D1. That's really interesting to me. But I feel pretty good about the RPAC having multiple teams at state in Class D2.
Should be a lot of fun. Should be really exciting. So, well, thanks for taking the time to visit today.
Thank you, Evan. Always fun.
Many thanks to Cody Gerlach of the Valley Voice for joining us this week on the podcast to chat about the RPAC volleyball tournament that concluded on Tuesday. Got to thank our great sponsors for allowing us to provide you coverage of the RPAC volleyball tournament: Western Nebraska Bank, Webb's Oilfield Service, Onyx Native, C+, JBK Operating LLC, Lord's Hardware Furniture and Appliances, Wakanda Boats and Motors, Rachel Ann Photography, 738 Ag, Holdridge Family Dental, Aurora Co-op, Cook Brothers Custom Silage, Cambridge Rehab and Fitness, Medicine Creek Counseling, Arapahoe Rehab and Fitness, Waypoint Bank in Cambridge, Jackson Construction, Law Office of Ashley K. Spahn, Dundee County Hospital and Quality Health Care, Prairie Girl Candle Company, Matthews Chiropractic, Bentley and Kisker PC, Benkelman Pharmacy, Go Light, Hawkswell Motors, Stengel Taxidermy, Hardin Agency, Sandy Hill Meats, Blue Flower Bakery, Dayspring Bank, Finley Construction, Double D Hauling and Spreading, Kelly Detker, Susie's Creative Stitches, Pitts and Spitz Barbecue and Catering, Elevate Wellness, providing physical therapy and a large range of holistic health services to the entire Southwest Nebraska region, The Hex and the Hive, screen printing and Airbnb in Alma, Nebraska, Hilltop Seeds. Many thanks to our awesome sponsors for allowing us to bring you coverage of the RPAC volleyball tournament for the year of 2025, another tournament in the books. We'll take a break, close out the episode for this week. That will do it for this week's episode of the podcast. Be on the lookout for our Athletes of the Week, brought to you by First Central Bank. Always highly anticipated. We typically drop those on Thursday. Great to have a partner like First Central Bank as our advertiser on those. We'd like to thank great sponsors of the podcast like JBK Operating LLC, Scouts Recreation, First Central Bank, Cross Diamond Cattle Company, Tri-Valley Medical Foundation, and Prairie Girl Candle Company. Thanks a bunch for tuning in. We will catch you later.